They got this commission in Texas. It used to be called the Commission on Genocide and the Holocaust. At the end of 2020, actually around April, May of 2020, they had some awards. They awarded some people, and the manner in which they awarded the people that they allowed to be the award recipients was really disturbing because it fit into this pattern, this racialized pattern that's been going on the entire time I've been here. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know who actually gets my videos. I know it's a lie when they say who the subscribers are. And I know it's a lie when they talk about who views it. More people view it than I know. And not only do more people view it than I know, the actual people that view it are not who they've underwritten these currents in the background that are part of this torment to be, right? So I know that. But I was concerned because they got this keeps happening, right? I've told them over and over again, their automation is completely disgustingly racist, and I'm never gonna fucking concede to it. I'm never gonna fucking concede to it. It's that fucking predictive. And in this little pyramid scheme they got this racial hierarchy where there's like these demographic quotas you got to make. And every once in a while, cyclically, on deadlines where you should be actually accruing in connection with the work you've already done, including even after it's been stolen, if you actually track what they've stolen instead of giving in, just saying, oh, I just got to let it go, you'll find it's actually accruing. Whoever stole your identity, whoever stole your work, is using it for whatever they want to call credit or whatever they want to call whatever they're supposed to be attributed to. It's actually your life. And you still have these economic events in your life. And so whoever stole it is drawing on these moments. And the problem is, they're not going to let you out. The whole narrative is they're not going to let you out of the racket unless you agree to do something that's completely reprehensible. Usually it's illegal, but it's also fucking racist as hell. And I don't understand it because it's not just racist to me. It's also racist to the people they're trying to get to play into it. They've got these completely contrived racist stereotypes of the people they allow you to have an intersection with. Now, every once in a while, especially if you're on the streets, you'll see people act the way they act, things happen. But I'm talking about the specific economic events that are in your life that are very meaningful. It should be something that, for instance, if you were connected to a community, could have been credit for the community. But they fucking extract you and they do this shit where they run you in isolation. They keep trying to get you to agree to do this crime. And the understanding I have is that whoever stole my credit and whoever stole my life, going all the way back a long time, even when I was a fucking minor, that they agreed to these really, really illegal deals. And they agreed to give them girls. And I just refuse to be the kind of girl that fucking paid off whatever they promised. And so they've been doing this for 25, 30 years to me. And that's why they keep trying to get me as a 45-year-old woman to act like the girl that they promised to whoever they promised that girl to. And it's totally fucking racist. And I don't get to talk to Arabs. I don't get to talk to Jews. I don't get to talk to anybody that's actually a member of a bar association, for instance, a lawyer or a judge. Very specific typecast groups of people, usually supposed to be on some sort of margin, right? And what they do, I've noticed, they take the political capital that I have from my past and they swap it out with somebody else's political capital. Last couple of years, they've been doing it in connection with a couple people I've been tracking. One of them happens to be a former attorney general that's dead. Now, I contend he was murdered, but there were certain things he did that were priorities during his administration as attorney general. So they keep trying to get me to make these, deals connected with certain things he did around certain demographics while he was attorney general. And the ironic thing is, the primary thing they keep carrying it to is a flip. When I say that they swap it out, it's a flip on something I used to do with people. When I was not just a journalist, but when I would travel, I actually worked with somebody to help start an oral history project. My role in it was one thing. They, had the major creative control, so to speak. They set the terms. But I helped get some funding for it. And I believe what they did is that was from 2002, 2003, 2004. But by 2006, when I went back to Chicago, they tried to flip that. And they tried to flip it to the street economy. And when they tried to flip it to the street economy, what they did is they had already agreed to cash out all of my political capital from before and try to get me to agree to this re-narrativization of who I was, including by actively ceding to and committing myself to a political perspective I was contrary for up until that time. And when I got involved, I agreed, I said, I'm going to go ahead and listen. I'm going to work with you. You got a different model. I take what you say seriously. You know, they said, you're going to need to take some time to get to learn this. But as I got to learn it, I didn't agree with it. I especially didn't agree with it when it came to crisis. So when I left on political terms as much as anything. But they won't let that go. They won't let that go because somebody used that drawdown at the Strategic Petroleum Reserve to set up a production arrangement that was supposed to replace the production arrangement they set up when I first came to Texas. And when I came to Texas, I had great credit. I had just finished working at a law firm. I'd been traveling. I was an award-winning journalist. You know, when I came to Texas, I got a job at a law firm in Texas, a capital defense firm. They created a production arrangement about that and the people I was with and among. And they keep replicating that production arrangement. There's some good stuff they got. And they intended when I went back to Chicago, I was just going to leave all that behind and let somebody take that, cash that out, move on. And then I was going to commit myself to a contract. I was going to convert. It was going to be my 5-year conversion from 2001 to 2006. I said, okay, just so happens it was around 5 years, right? The 5th year mark is when I was no longer eligible to get paid because they didn't have the money to pay me and I was going to have to earn it. Meaning now you're going to have to demonstrate that you've accepted what you previously said you were politically opposed to, and you're going to have to commit to it in order to make money. Well, it didn't work out. And unfortunately, whoever it was that brokered it on that level keeps trying to get it to work. And now we're at a point where we're 15 years down the road. 15 years, man. And now they want a irrevocable conversion. And in the course of that, I don't get to talk to anybody except for these predetermined, completely racist fucking paradigms. And in the meantime, I'm supposed to understand that all those deals they bid on that I was supposed to deliver on by actually performing, well, I defaulted because I didn't do it. So all this other stuff I do, including stuff I actually do, they keep trying to say, well, somebody else, that's somebody else's. This belongs to this person. This belongs to that person. That belongs to that person. And then when I say, no, I'm not going to cede, then they say, well, you didn't pay your loan. What? I didn't take out a fucking loan on anybody. I didn't let anybody take out a loan on me. I actually did the work. You can't steal the work, tell me I'm supposed to completely give up who I am, including my birth certificate and my driver's license. And then I'm supposed to let you tell me that I got to perform as somebody else. A completely contrary politics, completely contrary lifestyle, just faking it to make it. And then let them take what I did with my whole life and move it on to somebody else. And because it's pretty good stuff, right? There's some really good stuff that a whole bunch of other people got, including people that are in the public realm and not just for the United States. And I'm just supposed to give up and let them take my life, cash me out. And what do they want to cash me out for? A fucking soda? No, okay. That's not going to happen, right? That's not going to happen. But I'm really concerned by how fucking racist they made this. They made it so racist. It is violently racist. It is violent to the soul of a person that does not agree to conspire with this. If somebody else believed that they were allowed to use me as their experiment in creating a completely contrived, artificialized, racist pyramid scheme that also involves a bunch of cryptocurrencies, flipping cultural references that are not cultural references me and the people I knew work with, I'm sorry. You're the one that defaulted. You should never have done it, and you sure as fuck should never have tried to make me the person you were going to test this out on. It's completely racist, and it's completely genocidal. And you got to understand, there's only really one way to react in the course of this. There's no other way to react. I don't understand who you are. How are you so incomprehensibly cruel? It's over 6 years since I first tried to report witnessing an actual act of fucking terrorism. It was financed by a major bank that keeps fucking trafficking me, including when it gives all these kickbacks to all these people in political office. What made you think you were entitled to be this cruel? What were you trying to impart? Who were you trying to teach what? It's that fucking racist. I am never going to be able to cooperate. I am never going to be able to cooperate. I'm never going to be fucking grateful. I'm never going to accept you were entitled to loan my fucking life out. I'm never going to accept that somehow you were entitled to teach me to accept crime as a substitute for my political rights. When are you going to stop this? You've tried to murder me 3 times in the last 3 months. I've heard you, and you get pissed. Because I'm not actually dead, but somebody else ends up fucking dead. And you don't want to admit that when you target me for what you want me to believe is trifling ass fucking shit connected to whatever the fuck you thought you were legitimizing based on putting me in the fucking street economy because I refuse to go fucking do another goddamn fucking Christian service fealty dump at one of your fucking most favored national fucking money laundering operations. What were you trying to do? What were you fucking trying to do? I already know that because my name is Charity, you spent 20 fucking years playing on laundering money through charity in order to finance terrorism because I did not agree to repudiate my own relationships with people I knew that you falsely and illegally designated as terrorists. We weren't fucking terrorists. Well, at least the people I knew weren't terrorists then. But what you did is you liquidated terrorism and you tried to flip it. You became the terrorist like you could play at being the terrorist with the anticipation that at some point the narrative was going to flip. And you got to play terrorist. And then after that, you could take people that were calling you out and you could kidnap them and you could beat them. Hopefully you could kill them off and then you could take what they did and you could create it in your own image. You could take what they did and you could create it in your own image. So now we've got what were long-standing accusations and long-standing legal grievances for actual violations of rights against certain groups of people that engaged in very significant, high-level, ritualistic torture and extortion. And now they've taken that stuff. They sat on the goods while they were hot. And now they're trying to fucking fence them and flip them. And it's not fucking working. It's not fucking going to work. And in the process, unfortunately, you've done this thing where when you let the Federal Reserve play at a bunch of fucking CEOs pretending they're working class because they got busted for some of the world's most heinous fucking crime, and then they wanted to use actual working class people as their fucking credit, and now all of us are supposed to identify like we're at that fucking level without taking responsibility, I'm fucking sorry, guys. None of you actually had the credit to begin with either. You didn't hold anybody accountable. You agreed to be working class just long enough to hook yourself up with that fucking node around which you could fucking traffic drugs and traffic people to get what you wanted. And the rest of the fucking world be damned. Where is my Constitution? Where are my constitutional fucking rights? Who authorized them to kidnap me and subject me to this kind of fucking torture for fucking 6 years? Lots of times it's actually physical torture. There's no justification for cutting off my communication with anybody else. Whether it be somebody I used to work with, whether it be a fucking friend of mine that I used to know who actually said they were my friend, or whether it be a member of the goddamn fucking Senate Intel Committee. Whether it be the goddamn fucking House Banking Committee, whether it be the SC fucking C, they should have referred me to the goddamn fucking municipal fraud unit instead of fucking kicking it back to another goddamn fucking nonprofit, so they could get new board members that are writing my fucking life and pretending like they are relieving people of the burden of regulation. Where the fuck is my life? Where's my birth certificate? Where's my driver's license? Where are my certificates? Where are my petitions to the Supreme Court of the United States? Where's my house? Where is the copies of the work I did when I was a newspaper journalist and they were actually printed? Where are the items I submitted online that were published? Where are the people I used to know that were engaged in political action? Where is Omar Lopez's congressional office located?